Hello everyone. Many times have you felt the need of attaining satisfaction, the want of contentment or fulfillment? What we are going to read today is a poem written by Thomas Hardy. Also, we'll talk about how he achieved this satisfaction and where he went to achieve it. Let's start with a new poem today, When I Set for Lyonnesse, written by Thomas Hardy. The underlying idea to write this poem was that the poet wanted to attain fulfillment or satisfaction in life. He wanted to attain the happiness which was priceless. So he went to a mythical land. Mythical means an imaginary land called Lyonnesse, and he was an architect working as an apprentice. Apprentice is a person who gets trained, but while getting trained, he's also paid a little amount. So one day he went to a place called Lyonnesse, where there is a small church which was being restored or renovated, and his job was to supervise that restoration or renovation. Now this poem which Thomas Hardy has written is divided into 3 stanzas. In the first, he explains how he felt, why was he going towards Lyonnesse, how was his journey. In the second, he explains his worries or doubts because he does not know what is going to happen there and nobody could predict it. And in the third, he explains that when he came back from there was a change in him. There was a glow in his eyes, there was a magic in his eyes. Nobody knew what had happened, but yes, there was a fulfillment, there was a satisfaction, there was joy, there was a contentment inside his heart. So let's start with our today's session. So in today's session, I'm going to read out the poem to you, then explain it line by line along with the meaning of the new words. But before we start with all this, as usual, let's know something about the poet Thomas Hardy. Thomas Hardy, who was born on 2nd June 1840 in Dorset, England. He was an English novelist, poet, and a short story writer. He died on 11th January 1920 in Dorset, England. Before we start reading the poem, let me read the introduction that's given for it. As a young apprentice architect, apprentice is a person who gets trained, but at the time of training, he is also paid a little amount. An architect is a person who designs or plans the construction of a building. So as a young apprentice architect, British poet and novelist Thomas Hardy once, let me read the introduction that's given for it. As a young apprentice architect, apprentice is a person who gets trained, but at the time of training, he is also paid a little amount. An architect is a person who designs or plans the construction of a building. So as a young apprentice architect, British poet and novelist Thomas Hardy once visited Paris to supervise the restoration. Parish is a small church belonging to a small community, and restoration means renovation. Restoration of a church. On his return from the parish, people noticed 2 things about him: a new glow in his eyes and a crumbled piece of paper. Crumpled means crushed, sticking out of his coat pocket. That paper is a recorded in one of his biography, contained draft of a poem. You are going to read that very poem inspired by a visit to a place which the poet called Lyonnesse. Now Lyonnesse is a mythical birthplace of Sir Tristram in England. It is believed to have been submerged by the sea. In the poem, it is used as an imaginary place, and here the poet suggests that after visiting that place, he received spiritual benefit. Now let me explain this poem line by line to you. When I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away, the rim was on the spring, and starlight lit my lonesomeness. When I set out for Lyonnesse 100 miles away. The poet here tells us he has started for a place called Lyonnesse, and when he set out, he started for that place, Lyonnesse. It was 100 miles away. Rime meaning frost or snow, and sprang meaning the spread of leaves and branches of a tree. It was winter season and there was snow all spread over the leaves and the branches of the tree, and the word starlight suggests that he started his journey at night time, but the stars in the sky had lighted up his dark path and his lonesomeness. Lonesomeness means loneliness. Now, the first two lines are repeated, which suggests the same thing again, that when he started for the place Lyonnesse, that place was about 100 miles away from his home. What would bechance at Lyonnesse, while I should rejoin there? No prophet does declare, nor did the wisest wizard guess. What would behance at Lyonnesse, while I should rejoin there? The word bechance means happen or something about to happen. Sojourn means stay. So here the poet is really anxious and he does not know that what would happen at Lyonnesse till the time he stays there. And he says that no prophet is a holy person who predicts future. Dares meaning dare, and wizards meaning an intelligent person. So the poet here says that neither a prophet who can predict the future can dare to declare what is going to happen, nor even the wisest or the most intelligent person can guess what is going to happen when he will stay at Lyonnesse. Again, the first two lines are repeated and the poet is really nervous. He is anxious and he is thinking that what would happen at Lyonnesse while he would stay there. When I returned from Lyonnesse, with magic in my eyes, all marked with mute surmise, my radiance rare and fathomless, when I returned from Lyonnesse, with magic in my eyes. So the poet expresses that he had returned from Lyonnesse, but there is a contrast in his personality. While going, he was really unhappy, but now, when he had returned, there is a magic in his eyes. There is something new, something very mystical in his eyes. So everybody who saw the poet, they were mocked. They were all mute. Mute means silent or quiet, and surmise means thoughts of guesses. So all the people who looked at him were quiet, but they were lost in thoughts. They were trying to guess what had happened with the poet, because there was radiance. Radiance means glow on his face, which was very rare and fathomless. Fathomless means so deep that the depth cannot be measured. In other words, when the poet came back from Lyonnesse, there was magic in his eyes and everyone was thinking and guessing the reason behind that magic, and the glow on his face, which was so rare, could not be found otherwise, and also immeasurable, that could not be measured. Anything was so deep. The first two lines are repeated again to highlight the fact that when the poet returned from Lyonnesse, there was magic in his eyes, there was a change in his personality, and in the way he looked and felt. So at the end of this poem, Thomas Hardy expresses that he had attained the actual happiness, the actual joy or contentment in life, which is absolutely priceless. So what is the moral of this poem? It is inner joy and satisfaction that does not come through material gain, but which comes through goodness. It comes when you do something good for others. So on this note, let me finish my today's session, and of course the entire poem. In the next session I am going to bring as usual a new topic. Till then, wait and take a very good care of yourself. Goodbye.